Hello, and welcome to episode 37 of Missed Mando, Ontario's source for the latest in the disc golf world. Guess who's back? Back again. Robbie's back. Tell your friends. I am your host, Robbie Holden. For once, we're not on the same wavelength with our song choices, Galen. But I am your host, Robbie Holden, joined, as always, by my friends and co-hosts, Sean Galbraith and Galen Naidu-Harris. The whole gang is here together again for the first time in a while. And Galen, let's throw it over to you. How are you, my friend? What have you been up to? What's new?
I'm good, fellas. I'm going to be honest. I have not had time to watch any disc golf, play any disc golf. I've been abdicating my duties as a responsible member of the disc golf community and of this podcast, but I've been doing that for years. So, I mean, at least a year. I've been crazy busy. I've been, in and out of the hospital. It's been kind of a crazy couple of weeks here. But I will say the one disc golf related update that I have that's really exciting is I don't know if I told you guys that I had this Missed Mando Mini on order. I've been waiting about 10 months, and actually it just arrived. So, Brenna, do you mind? Look who's here! Oh, I'm sorry. That's probably not the most fun, kiddo. Brenna and I had a baby, so that's why I haven't been on the podcast lately. I don't know if anybody... Oh, bless you, my dear. I don't know if this is going to be anything for the audio listeners, but I'm currently holding my child on camera in a Missed Mando Mini onesie. Thank you, Sean, for making that happen. So this is my whole life, and this is my whole world right now. So I've been a little bit busy, and I haven't been able to dedicate a lot of time to the podcast, but I think I got a pretty good reason for it. And its name is Chloe. Oh, my God. Somebody said Chloe earlier. It's been throwing me off. Cleo Pixie Harris right here. And so we have our newest listener, our newest co-host, and I am over the moon. She's doing laps around me already, and she can't even talk yet. So life is good, fellas. How about you, Sean? What do you got going on in your life?
Well, nothing like what you got going on. She is beautiful. She is perfect. Right. Does she have a PDGA number yet?
Not yet. You're the second person today to ask me that, surprisingly. She does not yet have a number, but she will have one. Very soon. We're going to have her throwing forehands before the end of the week.
She's absolutely...
You can already see she's got the grip strength for it. She's working on the X step.
Yeah. Fantastic. She's going to be
throwing far to your butt. No time. I think this is enough excitement for one night for a little lady who's only about 2 weeks old, but just wanted to drop in a little cameo for the fellas. It's been the ride of a lifetime. I've only been here for 12 days. So thanks for being patient with me, podcast fans. The quality of the pod has gone up with me off of it, I'm sure, anyway. But this is Cleo, our littlest fan, our littlest host, and I'm so happy she's here.
Well, welcome to the world, baby Cleo, and congrats to you, Galen, and to Brenna, both of you. I am so happy for you guys. Congratulations.
Thanks, boys.
Big love to all of you, and go spend time with your baby. We'll take care of the fort here while you are away, and we'll be ready for you when you're ready to come back.
Sounds great. Next time you see me, she'll be my size and throwing further than I can.
You're not very big, so that's okay.
I know, and hopefully she'll be sneezing less, but we'll see. All right, see you, fellas. Thanks for letting us drop in.
See you, buddy.
Later, buddy.
Bye. That was perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Amazing.
Yep. All right. I'm going to kick you off.
Yep. Perfect. Thanks, fellas.
Have a good night. That was amazing.
Later, buddy.
Bye. Yeah. So good.
That was absolutely amazing. Shawnee G, do you just want to completely roll into how we were talking, or do you want to leave a break here for an edit?
No, let's just keep on chugging along.
All right, let's keep it. We'll do it live. We're doing it live.
Yeah.
Galen set you up there, Shawnee G. Obviously not as exciting as what's been going on for Galen. But what's been going on for you, my friend? It's been a while.
Solid second to having a baby. Gabby and I, we were out west on Vancouver Island for the Smith Lake Farm disc golf camp. This was put on by Smith Lake Farm, which is a farm and an amazing disc golf course up close towards south of Campbell River, about 3 hours north of Victoria. They got a great 18-hole course, which was expanded to 20 holes for the event. There were about 80, a little under 80 campers, let's call it. The coaches were friend of the show, Sophia Donica, friend of the show, Thomas Gilbert, MP40 BC legend, Chance Stad, and a little guy, I don't know if everybody knows this guy, Nathan something Sexton, Nate Sexton, I think it was. I don't know. I wasn't familiar with his game before, but he was excellent. It was a fantastic to see him there. What can I say about this event? It was perfect. It was basically all included with the, except, drinks or whatever, but like we got fed, accommodations, fantastic accommodations, waterside at the Alders Beach Resort, which was like 5 minutes from the farm, from the course. They rented out the entire thing, so it was just disc golfers in all these cabins. They set up a 9-hole mini course, like as in 4 minis, including shots that went out onto the beach, which was super cool.
So cool.
The food was amazing. We had, on the Saturday, we started with a backhand lesson. Then we had some time to practice what we learned. Then forehand lesson, then practice what we learned. And then we filmed an episode of Champs versus Chumps. And you got to sign up for the hole that you wanted to play. And listener, I was very strategic. I wanted a lefty-friendly hole because your boy is a lefty. And then I spent like 45 minutes practicing my tee shot. One shot I spent throwing over and over and over again because it is going to be on camera. And I did not want to screw it up. And I knew that the other guys on my card, the other 3 guys who signed up for hole 3, they were righties. And this was a very strong lefty hole. I'm not going to spoil what actually happened. You got to watch it when it drops. We will definitely be blasting it out to our listener. It's going to be Champs versus Chumps number 17. Ian Anderson was there from Central Coast Disc Golf and one of the commentators on the Pro Tour. He and Central Coast were there filming the thing. Nate Sexton was, of course, chirping us as we played and doing the on-course commentary. Gabby was throwing on hole 2. I was on hole 3, and then we just got to watch the rest of the chaos. There's a shot by this 11-year-old that has to be witnessed to be believed. It's going to be so great. I think they're editing Champs versus Chumps 16 right now. So 17 will presumably come on after that, I guess. But we will definitely let you know when to watch man, I keep going on. This is so great. Like, check out this beautiful Smith Lake Farm goat towel that we got as like our players pack. This thing is gorgeous.
Shout out to Goat Towel, literally, truly the greatest of all towels.
Truly the best name. We picked up for Galen. We got the Eagle L from Sophia. She sold out of all of them. This was of course, it's got that ink. She sold out of these discs, and I will little spoiler on my hole. So we were the Chumps. The entire field was playing against Thomas and Sophia, playing best disc doubles versus our best disc quads.
Pretty solid.
And so on my hole, I had to bust out the Sophia Eagle to try and flex on her. And we'll see if I was actually successful or not. Also picked up so Chance Stad. I bagged two of his stamp discs already. A glitch. He's on Team MVP. I bag his uplink and I bag a glitch. All of his stamps have a Cthulhu theme, and this year he's going with the adorable baby Cthulhu's stamp. It's so adorable. This is on a tempo. I also picked it up on a range. Don't have any bold purple discs. That's pretty cool looking.
The range is such a good disc.
I've heard good things. I bag a Berg, so I'm interested to do the Berg versus range challenge. Also,
I've got both in my bag
this
now.
Beautiful Rolo with the Smith Lake Farm and all of the coaches' ink on that. And then, dear listener, we will not leave you just listening to my boring story about how amazing this thing was and you missed out, because I picked up two fundraiser shirts for Sophia and Thomas. I got them in a size medium and I think a size large. These are unbleached cotton and they are autographed.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them are autographed. We're going to give them away to listeners of the show. I'll probably actually do it this time, unlike the last time when I said I'd give away stuff for Matteo giving the ace. I will eventually do that too. I just still haven't actually figured out how to actually do the thing. But we're going to do it at some point. And we're going to do that thing, and we're going to do 2 shirts, a large and a medium. We're going to give them away to somebody who listens to this show, probably on Instagram. Again, I'll figure it out at some point. But man, what on then on the second day we had a putting clinic, and then the mental game clinic, and then we played a round of doubles on the course. And before having to say our sad goodbyes to everyone and leave camp, it was absolutely like incredible. I really hope they do it next year. And if you go, you will absolutely not regret it. It was some of the most fun I've had in disc golf. It was a blast. Absolutely worth it. That's what I've been up to. It was a fair bit. And that was just one of those.
I am incredibly jealous, Shawnee G. That sounds like an absolute incredible time. And I too hope that they host it again next year, because I would love to make it out there. It looked like it was an absolute blast getting to hang out with the pros. Got a little bit of a surprise Missed Mando X Chain Out podcast collaboration on the Instagram story, which was awesome to see. Stay tuned. Little spoiler alert, we're hoping to get a Missed Mando versus Chain Out battle while they are out here for nationals later in the year. Hopefully we can make that happen, because that would be super fun. But yeah, I am incredibly jealous, Shawnee G, and hopefully next year we can get more Missed Mando guys out there. Would you go back again if it was hosted next year? Would you double up?
I would seriously consider doing it again. It was really great. It was an absolute blast. It was really fun meeting Daryl of Chain Out. We had a great time hanging out. Definitely looking forward to doing that collab later this year.
I already said it to him once, but I'll say it on the podcast too. That to Daryl, that I'm sorry I shaved my beard, man. I know we were two bearded brothers, and I abandoned you on the beard train, but I'll grow it out. Oh, it'll be back. But yes, all right. So
what you been up?
I don't know what I was going to go into there. I was going to say something else to finish out that disc golf camp talk, but. Good segue. I played in a tournament that we are going to talk about coming up in our tournament recaps, the Gapp's Gambit, which was amazing. I've been wanting to play out there for a while. I was supposed to play it on the way home from Nationals in Thunder Bay, but a accident on the highway that shut down the main highway getting out made me detour, and I didn't go back near Sault Ste. Marie, so I couldn't. So I skipped my usual tournament, Dreamaker, which I had played for 4 straight years. I skipped it, went to Gapp's instead, made the drive all the way out to St. Joseph Island out near Sault Ste. Marie. Incredible drive, was great. Lots of podcasts, lots of jamming out to the Hamilton and Wicked soundtracks, as I like to do on my road trips. And an incredible course, an incredible atmosphere out there. Shout out to Corey Murdoch and Ian, who let me crash at their place the night before the tournament. And they're like 5 minutes away from the course. It was perfect, and an incredible time. I had a lot of fun. Spoiler alert, I did not win. I did qualify for provincials, though. We'll get more into it into the recap in the recap coming up. But finally knocked off my qualifications for provincials later this year in Guelph, so I can represent my home club, the Guelph Disc Golf Club, which I cannot wait for. But that is all I have been up to. It is I guess I haven't been on the show in a while now. It's been like 3 shows since I've been on, and I was supposed to move at the end of last month. It got pushed to the end of this month. In between moving, and then I was sick once, and I think I had some other things going on, another one. So I've been out for a while, but it is good to be back here with you on the show. And we've got a good show coming up. We've got a lot to get to in this show. We've got recaps, we've got previews, but first we are going to send it over to our feature interview for this episode, and we are very excited to welcome on our listener. When Sean talks about our listener, I think this is the listener he is talking about. An OG listener to the show and a friend of both of us. I know you and me, Sean E.G., definitely a personal friend, and we are very excited to welcome on Ryan Bevilacqua to talk about the Little Hyzers program, Little Hyzers tour going on in Guelph this year, and lots of other junior stuff to talk about across the province. So we will be right back here on Missed Mando. Our next guest has been playing disc golf since 2003 and is currently a member of the ODSA Board. He is one half of the organizers of the amazing annual Jangalaqua Halloween Glowies tournament, but might be best known as the winner in MA2 of the 2009 Oktoberfest tournament that went down at Chicopee. While he has been resting on those laurels ever since, we have him on tonight to talk about the initiative that he is spearheading at the ODSA, the Little Hyzers Tour for juniors across Ontario. We are so pleased to welcome to the show our friend, Ryan Bevilacqua. Bevy, thanks so much for joining us, my man.
Cheers, Robbie. Thanks for the great intro, and thanks for having me on the show.
We always have to bring out the big guns on the intro when we have very special guests like yourself on. And Bevy, as we like to do with all of our first-time guests, let's take things back to the start of your disc golf journey. You are a true OG to the sport in Ontario, as I said, playing since 2003. But let's hear it from you. How did you originally get introduced to the sport? Were you hooked immediately?
Definitely was hooked immediately. In 2003, Sean's cousin, actually, good friend Brad Sargent, the jangler, took me out to White Spruce Park. We played with Ultimate Discs, thought we invented the sport. We met some of the local crew there, which was small then, but mighty still, and some of them are still there doing their thing, as you know, and we got hooked right away. About 20 of our friends joined all at the same time. The locals there were amazing, super generous, and gave us disc golf discs. They were like, "What are you guys doing playing with Ultimate Discs? You play, actually, this is disc golf, and you play with these Frisbees." And gave us those, and I've always kept that in my mind. That's why I always keep extra discs in my bag to hand out to new people of the sport as well.
So you've been playing for 2 decades. You must have seen some pretty significant changes over the years.
Oh, for sure. Disc golf, the sport's grown exponentially, right? All the work we've done here locally and worldwide. It's amazing to see what it's like, right? Back then we had the Disc Golf Ontario Forum, which I'm not sure if either of you are familiar with, but it was like a website that we went to. There was maybe 10 courses in Ontario at the time with hand-drawn maps on how you get from hole to hole and where the courses were, right? UDIS wasn't a thing then. So, it's leaps and bounds. It's amazing to see where the sport's grown.
Oh, how far we've come in the 20 years that you've been around the game. But speaking more on the junior side of things, which we're, of course, going to talk to you a lot about tonight, when did you first start seeing junior divisions regularly being offered in the province? I know when I always look back at some old PDGA tournaments, like when we were doing our hard depth research to find out your one career PDGA win, to mention in your you don't see junior divisions all that often in the old school tournaments. So when did you start to see that?
Yeah, there weren't junior divisions. There weren't even ladies divisions, right? It's come a long way. I'd say 2018, 2020, around then we started seeing more participation in the sport, right? During COVID, especially, the sport blew up and now we're able to fill these divisions, right? We didn't see those divisions before too much because there weren't enough participants to fill a full division, right? But, Carl and Nico Forbes started the Nico's Drive events, I believe in 2021. Maybe it was 2020. But since then, the growth locally has grown exponentially. So, I'd say around that time.
Really, that recent? So basically, junior disc golf in Ontario is basically a COVID thing, along with the rest of the boom.
Sure. Yeah, it's seen the growth through that for sure. I mean, it was there. There was juniors playing, but very rarely would you see enough to facilitate a division at one tournament. But now we're having tournaments specifically for them, right? It's great.
When the junior divisions were first started to be offered, was there any resistance or skepticism for them at first, or was it fairly accepted from the start to sort of grow the sport? Because I know in some corners of the sport there's actually some resentment to the underserved divisions being given space at events that some people feel they're entitled to, like some of these bigger, primarily like the mixed amateur divisions where we've got just so many players. And with limited space in tournaments, not everybody gets to play everything.
Sure. There's always going to be some people that, have opinions different, or contrary to that. But I think for juniors specifically, generally people love to see, it's the future of the sport. So that I think, okay to see that. Sure. You might not be able to have 50 M2s in the tournament anymore. It might be 45, but, I don't think there's too much resistance.
So you mentioned there, from past where there weren't junior events or junior divisions to now being full events that are catered to junior players. And of course, a lot of that right now is through the Little Hyzers initiative that you spearhead with the ODSA. When did that idea for the Little Hyzers tour start to come about? And I just as a whole, what does the Little Hyzers tour do and offer for players across Ontario?
Well, I guess the idea was we started talking about it at the ODSA in 2024. In 2024, the ODSA covered the Ontario Junior Provincials, which was run by Carl Forbes. We covered all entry fees for that. And then the group decided, well, maybe we could get a whole series of events for juniors. So we started brainstorming then and planning then. We have a Little Hyzers committee. Carl Forbes is part of that, I guess it just, mid 2024, we started kind of getting the ball rolling with where we were going to go with it for 2025. So, I'm pleased to, let you know that we have 9 events set up for this year in Ontario. Started in, I guess, beginning of May, and they're going till the end of August. With our Ontario Junior Championships. And, Robbie, thank you for offering to help with that event too. That's going to be in Paris, and looking forward to, culminating the season there. So, hope that answered that question all right, Phila.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely did. So are the events on the Little Hyzers tour, are they all standalone events, or are there some like junior divisions that are part of other larger tournaments that sort of count towards the Little Hyzers tour?
No, they're all like standalone events. One of the requirements that we have, like, some are run by ODSA members, some are run by hosts and TDs that are outside of where we would live. Like this past weekend, there was the Eddyville MVP Junior Classic. John Pytel hosted that up at Eddyville Superspin. These are standalone events. They offer every single junior division from MJFJ6 all the way to MJFJ18. And yeah, they're their own thing. There's no qualification process needed for an event. You do not have to be an ODSA member. You do not have to be a PDGA member to attend these events. And same for the Ontario Junior Provincials. As long as you're within that age group, you can attend. It's free to attend, and we give you things too, right? There's players packs, sweet treats, trophies, lots of good stuff. So I'm honored to be able to offer this to our juniors across the province.
I love that the 6 and under division is offered. Those kids are so damn cute with golf discs bigger than their head. Like it is just the most adorable division of like, absolutely. So you mentioned you don't have to be a PDGA member. Love that. Are they sanctioned events?
They are. They're PDGA C-tier sanctioned events.
Fantastic.
The ODSA, we cover the player fees, and provide players packs, trophies. Yeah, it's like a stepping stone for these juniors to kind of then participate in some of the bigger events, right? We want to teach them what disc golf tournaments are about, and it's good exposure. No barriers, right? And part of it that we say too is it's rules-ish. We do want to have rules, but at the same time, for a 6-year-old who's never played disc golf, we want to teach them the rules too, right? And the ultimate goal is that they have fun out there.
Listen, as the resident rules nerd on this show, I am highly offended that you do not have 6-year-olds calling foot faults on other 6. Yes, they may cry, but that's how they learn.
It happens with adults too, so you're not wrong, Sean. Right? There's just this weekend that happened.
That's a good
right?
point. That's a good point.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Junior. You were clearly 25 centimeters away from your lie. That is incorrect. That's a 1-stroke penalty.
Some of these events too, we remove all OB as well, which you may or may not like, but we want to make it as easy as we can for these kids, and ultimate goal, have fun, right? So yeah.
So what you're saying is we shouldn't have a Missed Mando Mayhem Juniors tour.
They might not be following those Mandos, yeah.
I was about to say, as we saw from the Missed Mando Mayhem last year, Sean's primary enjoyment when he's setting up things for people is to torture them. So it's a good thing that you are in this position, Bevy, and not Sean. We definitely know that for sure. I was going to ask you about costs for the players, but you mentioned that it was free to sign up. So how does the fundraising for all of that sort of happen?
Well, with the ODSA, we did some raffles beginning of the year, even the end of 2024, towards these goals. It's cost us thousands of dollars to fund this, and I'm not great with budgets. We've gone over budget as well, but that's a good thing. That means we're actually getting kids out and at these events. So, we're going to continue to do some more fundraising for that too. And we've brainstormed a few other ideas too. We've actually got a meeting this week that with the ODSA that we're going to go over a few other items. So I'm not going to talk about what else we're going to do quite yet until we confirm some things. But yeah, we've done raffles, and a lot of people have helped participating in these raffles, and I thank them so much for their support. It's going to a good cause.
Well, now
will there be anything
time.
upcoming soon, that fundraising type things?
Yeah, I mean, yes, for sure, but not anything that I'm gonna drop right now. Like I said, we're gonna talk later this week, and maybe next time, or Sean can talk on your next episode as to what some of the things we might be doing.
Well, why don't we talk about one of those things right now? So we have not announced this yet. This is breaking
Exclusive.
news. We are going to be bringing the Missed Mando Mayhem to White Spruce, the first weekend, the long weekend of August. We're not sure if it's going to be the Saturday, the Sunday yet, but it's going to be one of those 2 days. And we wanted to use that as a fundraiser for the Little Hyzers tour. So I think if you're good with that, all money raised on that event from entry fees, which is always only $20, we're going to donate all of it to the Little Hyzers tour to help make that thing a little more successful.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm super appreciative of that, Sean. Sean had mentioned that he was going to do an event, so this is an exclusive drop for me too, Robbie. I'm just finding this out now too. But yeah, no, it sounds amazing. Thank you. Appreciate it. The majority of the funds raised that we've got coming in now are going to help specifically the Ontario Junior Provincials. We've got a bunch of players packed still and everything for the rest of the tour, but the Junior Provincials is kind of going to be like a separate event where, I'm going to run out those items and trophies and whatnot by then. So thank you, Sean and Robbie and Galen. It's going to go towards that event for sure. So that's amazing.
How many events are making up the tour this year? Oh, and you're very welcome. Yes, we're happy to do. We're happy to torture people all over White Spruce. It's going to be absolute chaos. I cannot wait.
We've got 9 events set up, including the Ontario Junior Championships at the end. So I guess 8 prior to that, but it's not like it's a series that builds up. So 9 separate events.
Geographically, are they all over the province, or where can people go to play these events?
Yeah, they're somewhat all over. I live in Guelph, so 2 of the events are here in Guelph. One was already happened, the Nico's Drive event. That was what kicked off the year. We've done Nico's Drive. This is our 4th year doing that event. So we kind of a staple in Ontario junior disc golf. So we wanted to keep that going as well. And then I'm also going to run the Guelph Disc Golf Club Junior Gauntlet, and I believe that same weekend the second weekend in August is when I'm running that event. But we had an event in Almer, like I mentioned, Eddyville. So that's Bourget. So that's kind of northeastern Ontario. There was one at Peterborough. We've got one coming up in London. There's Cambridge. There's what else? We tried going up further north too, but with Barrie and Sandy Hollow being closed this year, that kind of changed the logistics there. But we're excited to have them somewhat all over. We tried our best to try to get them all around Ontario, and this being our first year doing it, we weren't sure exactly how many events we'd be able to, fund and how far this will go, but we want to make this sustainable. So, this is going to happen again next year too. And, by all means, if anyone is interested in running a Little Hyzers event next year or wants one in their area, please reach out.
Well, Bevy, you just segued absolutely perfectly into the next question that I was going to ask, which was, for anybody that is looking to run a junior event like this, how would they go about doing that? Is there still an opportunity for more events to be added this year, or would it be more now looking at next year? How would they go about doing that if they were interested?
Yeah, I mean, when we were talking about planning the season, we kind of thought starting in May and running till the end of August. We wanted to be finished before the end of the school year, if that kind of makes sense. So there is potentially time to get an event in this year, but it might be easier just and logistically just to wait until next year. But they can contact me, Ryan at OntarioDisports.ca. I'm on Facebook as well, Ryan Bevilacqua. You can find me on there. Send me a direct message there, and love to chat about it.
At these events, are you using sort of typically using the standard short layouts, the reds, or are you doing custom layouts for the M and FJ6s?
Well, like I said, it's not always myself or an ODSA member hosting these events. Sometimes they're the host or other TDs or clubs that are hosting. And I've suggested that they do custom layouts, mostly shorts, but there's a big difference between what a 6-year-old can do in disc golf and what an 18-year-old can do in disc golf.
I think that's a pretty bold statement, but big if true. Okay.
Yeah, sure. So at some of these events, we're even encouraging possibly 3 layouts, something specific for the 6 and 8-year-olds, and then 10 to 12 could have the shorts layouts, and then 12 and up. It depends. But at the same time, even for an 18-year-old, this might be their first event too. So really, I would encourage shorts over anything, but 2 layouts, maybe 3, depending on the course, the terrain of the course. Shortened holes, even too. We've got approval from the PDGA to do a minimum of at least 13 holes, right? In their C-tier standards, they say that you need 18 holes, but we've been given approval for these junior events that we could go as little as 13. That's specifically what the PDGA needs for a rated round as well. So that kind of works out. So at Riverside at Nico's Drive Guelph, we did a 15-hole layout for all divisions. We had 2 different layouts there, but we did shorten it because even at 15 holes, the 6-year-olds were done by about 8 or 9 holes. So, in hindsight, maybe next year we'll have a even shorter layout for them there, right? It all depends on, I think, what your field's looking like coming up to an event, and then the TD can kind of plan ahead. Just be mindful of all that, right? We want the kids to have fun. Lots of snacks too. Snacks are high priority.
Snacks are clutch for 6-year-olds. Absolutely. I love the idea of like a 15 hole, like 150 foot long course, like total hole distance, 150 feet.
Sure.
That's totally appropriate for 6-year-olds.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
That'd be so fun.
Yeah.
I want to play that whole course. 6-year-olds would beat my ass.
There's some good juniors out in Ontario, Sean. There really are. Better watch out. They're coming for us.
We were just talking about Austin Hill. His insane rounds at Dreamaker. And yeah, there are definitely some players who are a quarter of my age who could absolutely just beat me senseless on the course.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And that's what it's all about. I mean, some of these players like Rebecca Dawn, I believe her first tournament ever was a Nico's Drive event, right? So, that's great that these kids are starting young, and Nico is a world champion, right? It's all a product of, and kids love playing with kids. So, it's all great. I'm so happy to have this going.
And Rebecca tees off at USWDGC and FPO tomorrow. So good. So cool.
finished top 10 last weekend, right?
Yep.
Incredible. Mm-hmm.
Love to see it. And Bevy, you set up the next two questions pretty perfectly as well, talking about field sizes and also some standout players. And the questions that we had written down were just plainly, how many players are you typically getting at these tournaments? Obviously, I'm sure geography has a say in field sizes at some of these events. And then also, who are some of the standout players so far this season at the junior events? Some names that you think are, going to be up in MA1 kicking my butt before long. Who should I be looking out for?
Well, the whole field, Robbie. The whole field. Watch out for all of them. But the first event, Nico's Drive, I think we had just under 30 people, 30 kids playing. So, I mean, that was great. I think the least we've had so far is 16. So we're averaging about 25 or so kids per event, which is phenomenal.
That's great.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's amazing, right? Not every event's going to have that. This past one at Eddyville had 14, but out of those 14, 6 of them were female. So that's huge as well, too, because we want to see as many girls playing as possible, too, right? Standout names. I mean, I've only attended the one event right now, so it's tough to say who the standouts are, but Brooklyn Okrafka, is like, some of these kids have moved on. Austin Hill, the names you've mentioned, not that they're too good for these events, but they are already playing in, MA2, MA3, FA2, FA3, FPO on the Pro Tour, right? It doesn't take long, at all. So, Harrison Redding, 12-year-old beat Nico Forbes at an event recently, right? And it's the same age, right? Beat a world champion. So that is one name I would look out for from Mississauga area if you played or haven't met Harry before. But there's lots of keen young disc golfers, and it's a great thing to see.
I can't get into the age protected divisions fast enough, Bevy. These kids are getting too dang good.
You say that now, but man, I'm in those divisions, and it is a murderer's row in there. At least you're protected by you're an MA1. You're not protected by anything. Never mind. So fast forward to the end of the Little Hyzers tour. Is there going to be a tour finals event, or is it just going to be junior provincials? Where is junior provincials going to be held? How will the winner of the Little Hyzers tour be crowned? Is there a point series, or is it just who wins provincials? How do we get the winner of the Little Hyzers tour, if there is going to be one, or is this more love of the sport kind of thing?
I think it's more a love the sport kind of thing. They're all winners, Sean.
Right? Absolutely are.
I'm sure we're going to have the junior provincials as the final event where the chance to be a provincial champion in all the junior age protected divisions, but they're all winners. It's just getting kids out to play disc golf. I think that's the main goal. And who knows? Maybe we'll have some more events going on outside of or after August, right? That's just kind of what we had planned for so far, but who knows? After this or exposure, I might get people reaching out, and as long as we can fund it, why not? Let's do it, right? Let's get as many events out there as we can.
The more, the better. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, sorry. So to then answer your question, Junior Provincials is going to be at Green Lane Sports Complex in Paris, Ontario. That's
awesome.
August 30th. Got Craig and Jen Snow and Trevor and Brooklyn Okrafka kind of working to set up the course. They've got the memorial event the day after that. So it's going to be pretty much set up for me. And Robbie's offered to come down and help out too. So I'm going to put Robbie to work. We'll set up some flags and get things going out there. But we still have a bit of planning to do with exactly what we're going to provide for the kids for that event. So I'm excited to chat with you on Friday about that, Sean, and the rest of the ODSA, and get our plans going for that. But this has turned out to be fantastic already so far. So I'm really looking forward to what we can do as our big finale, if it's that, right? But we're going to plan for that to be the finale for now.
I will be the most enthusiastic spotter you've ever seen in your life, Bevy. I will bring full energy for you and all the junior players that will be there, and I can't wait to see it. Honestly, it's going to be really fun to be there and help out wherever I can. So, Bevy, in addition to the tour, what other initiatives are going on in Ontario to attract more juniors to disc golf? Any like events in schools, things like Play partnerships, or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. Both those are going on. I mean, I'm part of the PDGA Youth and Education Committee. We have a scholastic grant that we award or decide who gets when people can fill out applications. All you have to do is be a PDGA member to apply for this, but then you could be a volunteer at a school teacher. So most of the applicants we're getting are from the States, first of all, and then school teachers for the most part, but people wishing to start a school club. So that is one way that, one huge thing that the PDGA is doing to try to grow its junior membership. They're awarding $500 US, grant, and that could be used for disc golf equipment, baskets, discs, even school jerseys if you want to have a team. So that's one of the things. I mean, Uplay's got so many fantastic programs. So does Edge. Both Dustin and Zoe from Uplay are on the Youth and Education Committee, and Jay Redding is from Edge as well. So those are the two main non-for-profit companies out there that are getting discs into kids' hands. They do a lot. They are sending discs to a lot of these winners. To Uplay, I think, has a recycled disc program as well. So they're you basically, if you ask, Dustin and Zoe will send you discs, right? So there's a lot of people helping get the word out, which is great.
That's fantastic. I think that pretty much covers everything for the Little Hyzers tour. It's such a fantastic initiative, and it's doing so much to help grow the sport from the juniors up, and is having such fantastic success. So huge kudos and congrats to you and to all the TDs who are making it happen. While we have you here, we'll jump to another thing. We mentioned in the intro, Jangalaqua. This, for those who don't know, and shame on you if you do not know, Bevy and Jangles, they run this amazing glowy tournament at White Spruce every year. How long has Jangalaqua has been going on?
This year is Jangalaqua 18. So we missed 1 year because of COVID. So it would have been, I guess, technically 19 years, but we missed the 1 year. And 1 year the park was closed. We still did an event, just it was the Jangalaqua instead of our usual Halloween theme. It was Christmas theme that year. But October 30th, every year at White Spruce Park, 7 p.m., $10. Cash, too. Cash. No pre-registration. It's cash, and it's crazy. Also, Lena Kelly and Megan Donnelly helped Brown and I with that tournament too. The popularity's grown. We need the help, especially trying to corral 100 and some odd people in the dark. It's not easy, and I appreciate everyone's patience and participation and enthusiasm with the event.
What's the format for the event, and what can people expect at a Jangalaqua?
They can expect Jangles and I to just kind of wing it and throw whatever at them, whatever, however we want. No, generally, we try to have a mix of long and short holes at White Spruce Park. Historically, we have like a pregnant threes layout. So holes 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 are from the longs and the rest are from the shorts. The last few years, as things have grown, we've made some extra holes with the practice baskets and ghost holes just to try to accommodate the field. People can expect the course to be decorated in Halloween theme, which is what it's all about. The community helps out. I decorate a hole. We have a whole bunch of people that decorate holes, and it just brings the event to life, right? Sean, you've been there many years now, right? You've seen a lot of different hole decorations, right? They're what make the event, amazing, right? Doesn't matter if it's a Monday night or a Wednesday. I believe this year it's a Friday night. So maybe that helps people stay up a little later. But it's a long night. It starts at 7, and by the time the awards and everything end, it's usually about 11 p.m. Sometimes later.
We've said on the show, it is absolutely the can't miss tournament of the year. And it's so much fun. If you've only played White Spruce during the day, it's completely transformed at night by the whole decorations, and it's so much fun. Robbie, have you played it yet? I can't remember.
I sadly have never attended a Jangalaqua in my years of playing. It is a blemish on my disc golf record that will absolutely be amended in 2025. There's no reason I shouldn't make it out this year. So
100% cash payout, Robbie. Sometimes it's more than that because Jangles and I doing math in the dark is not always easy. So sometimes we pay out more than that for the field. There's an ace pot. CTPs on every hole as well. So, lots of prizes too. Lots of things.
Best costume.
Best costume we've done before. It's kind of random. Like I said, sometimes we just throw out extra things. We bring a bin of discs and prizes and hand them out how we see fit. But anyone who decorates a hole usually gets a Jangalaqua stamp disc. We've done a few runs of those the last couple of years. So we'll probably do that again this year.
I absolutely cannot wait to make it out to my first Jangalaqua. I always see the pictures every year, and maybe Sean can get some pictures from the past to edit into our video to show off some of the holes that have been created in the past. But I'm very much looking forward to it this year. I will be there for sure. But Bevy, we have had you for a while now. We thank you so much for coming on. But before we officially let you go, we'd like to hit you with a few lightning round questions that we ask all of our first-time guests. Just quick answers, whatever comes to your mind first. Are you ready?
Sure.
Let's do it. First one, softball. What's your favorite course?
White Spruce.
Outstanding correct answer. What is the hardest course you've ever played?
Ooh. Hardest I've ever played. Probably the Arboretum in Guelph here. I don't know how often you guys play the Rockers layouts here, but their summer layout here, it varies every year, but it's a very, very challenging course. Lots of OB, and yeah, I think the Arb.
Very unforgiving baskets too. They are mean to you sometimes.
They're not the nicest baskets in Ontario, that's for sure.
No. All right. One sport to play or watch other than disc golf, Bevy. What are you choosing?
Hockey.
Good Canadian boy.
Screw the Florida Panthers. What song makes you instantly turn up the volume to max and sing your heart out?
Ooh.
Or go-to karaoke song.
Or go-to karaoke song. Go-to karaoke is usually anything Bob Marley. I guess I'm not really a huge karaoke guy, but I do like reggae. So yeah, I'm gonna have to, I'll say "Waiting in Vain" by Bob Marley. That's one of my faves.
Solid choice. Bevy, what's your favorite place to stop for food on a road trip?
Ooh. I'm a sandwich guy. Maybe boring too, but I'm gonna go with Subway. Big fan of subs, and I'm a Subway guy over Mr. Subs, so I'm gonna say Subway.
All reliable. Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with sandwiches, ever.
No.
What movie never gets old no matter how many times you watch it?
Cool Runnings.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely love that. And Bevy, the last one that we've got for you, the most important one of all. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Superpower. Ooh. I'd love to be able to fly.
Yeah, I agree.
It's probably a common answer, but I know it is because I watch most of your show or your episodes. But yeah, I've never thought about how I'd answer that. But yeah, to be able to fly would be awesome.
And we thank
what
you for
what
being
people
our-
don't realize is that when Sean jokingly says something about our quote unquote listener as just one single listener, he's talking about Bevy. So thank you for being a longtime listener of the show, my friend.
I've always thought that, so thank you for confirming, Robbie. Okay.
Thank you for being the longtime listener of the show.
Well, I appreciate everything you guys do for disc golf in general, but here specifically in Ontario, it's amazing. It's great to see you highlight the players, the TDs, the tournaments, so thank you for all that you do.
But Bevy, thank you so much, my friend, for joining us. It has been a long time coming. Thank you so much for everything that you do for junior players across the province. And I can't wait to be out at Junior Provincials in Paris later this year. So I will see you there. But until then, thanks once again, Bevy, for joining us. And we will be right back on Missed Mando. Welcome back to Missed Mando. We are now going to move on to some Ontario news and no general news to go over this week. But Shawnee G, I'll throw it over to you for some upcoming tournaments and registrations.
This coming weekend might be the busiest weekend for tournaments all year, with 7 different tournaments going on, including CWEs in Guelph, Ottawa, and Newcastle. There's the Waterworks Open in St. Thomas. There's the Bronte and the Beast. There's the C tier out at Eddyville. And then there's the Brockville Tall Ships C tier. And for the first time since, I think, January, there are 0 new registrations opening in the next 2 weeks. So we got nothing. But man, so many players. Like, I looked at the registry. There's a lot of people playing in a lot of events this weekend, and it is so awesome to see. People are going to be out there having a blast. It's actually a rare weekend that I am not actually playing in a tournament. I'm going to be out at Newcastle helping out with their CWE. Yeah, looks like a hot one out there. So everybody stay cool, stay hydrated, and have fun and shoot well.
Yes, definitely stay cool, stay hydrated, and maybe throw in a little extra sunscreen. I learned that the hard way out at a tournament that we will get to coming up right now. Also, make sure you pack bug spray, as I was reminded of myself at this tournament as well. And we're going to move on to some tournament recaps. And the Ontario Tour made its furthest trip of the season. Well, I guess tied for the furthest trip, because it will return to this location later in the year for Knock. But we are heading out to Hilton Beach on St. Joseph Island near Sault Ste. Marie for the 4th annual Gapp's Gambit tournament at the beautiful Mountain View course. My first time being out and playing that course, and I definitely have to say it is worth the trip out there. It is a very fun course to play. And this year's event saw 53 people across 9 divisions competing for a top 3 spot to book their ticket to provincials this fall. MPO was the only pro division at the event and saw a great battle between Thomas Hums and Noah Rudy, who had a 1-stroke lead after the first round, with Scott White 6 strokes back of the lead in third. Round 2 saw Noah off to a hot start, birdieing the first 2 holes to extend his lead to 3, before Thomas followed up a birdie with a double bogey to fall back by 4. A double bogey by Noah would shrink the lead back to 2 before both players matched each other with 4 birdies over the next 5 holes. An unfortunate double bogey from Noah would tie things up with 5 holes to play, and then Thomas was able to birdie 2 of the next 4 to take a 2-stroke lead into the final hole, where both players would get the birdie to give Thomas the 1-stroke win in a hard-fought battle. Spencer Young had a solid final round to jump up into 3rd place and round out the podium and get his provincials spot if he hadn't already. I think he had already, probably. But over in the top amateur divisions, Taylor Quigley took a 3-stroke lead over Kyrie McKegg into the final round and kept her foot on the gas en route to a 7-stroke win, her 3rd win of the season to go along with 3 additional podium finishes this season. She has been on a tear. In MA1, Eric Terminesi held a 1-stroke lead over Jean-François Menard, one of my favorite card mates, and I just love saying his name. After round 1, with Ricky Penny and some random guy named Robbie Holden 2 strokes back in 3rd. JF would unfortunately fall off the pace in round 2, finishing in a tie for 4th, but Eric, Ricky, and myself were in a tight battle through 14 holes, with Eric holding a 1-stroke lead over Ricky and still 2 strokes over myself. Ricky would unfortunately go double bogey on the last 3 holes to fall off and finish in 3rd, and I would take a brutal bogey but follow it up with a birdie, while Eric took back-to-back pars to keep his lead at 2 with 1 hole to play. Playing arguably the toughest hole on the course, hole 12 was our last hole for the shotgun start event. After I laced a forehand drive to probably about 35 feet, just a little bit behind the MPO CTP pin that was on this hole, Eric hit an early tree, which opened the door a little bit, but threw an amazing approach shot to the edge of C1 for a chance to save his par. So I knew I had to run my putt to give any chance at tying the lead, and it was off the mark from C2. Gave it a decent bid, and Eric could have laid up for the win at that point, but he's a maniac and didn't care about the potential rollaway or anything like that. He's like, nah, I'm just going to cash this right into the heart, saved his par, and took down the 2-stroke win, his 2nd win of the season. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you, my friend, for any thoughts you have, ace shout-outs, anything you want to cover from the 2025 Gapp's Gambit. You are muted, my friend.
Amateur production here at Missed Mando. Want to give an extra shout out for Eric for beating and humiliating my co-host Robbie Holden. Well done there. That was excellent. I really appreciate that. Second shout out to Wes DiPietro for a sick ace on hole 6, 194 foot. And the thing with Gapp's Gambit is that their ace pot rolls over from tournament to tournament. And I think this was over an $800 shot. What a payout. That's awesome. That might be one of the biggest ace pots that I've heard of in a tournament. That's so
certainly
good.
Makes for a nice bonus to your disc golf weekend.
Absolutely. And then lastly, want to give a shout out to Joseph Boucher in MA2. He tied Clinton McKay on the final hole of round 2 to force a playoff and then took down the win. I don't know. PDGA Live doesn't tell you how many holes and what the playoff situation was, just that it happened. And so I don't know how many holes it took, but it took as many as it did, and he took it down, and well done. Shout out and to Joseph.
Yeah, huge shout out there. And I have to agree with you, Shawnee G. I wish PDGA Live would show us something for playoffs, as we will talk about in just a second as we move over to our next tournament to recap. One of the best events across the province all season, the 5th annual Dreamaker Open, which saw 187 players across 18 divisions descend onto the Dreamaker family campground in Southampton. One of my favorite tournaments every year. I skipped it this year to play Gaps because I really wanted to finally play that course. But I will be back at Dreamaker next year, getting to camp out with a whole bunch of disc golfers there for the weekend. The vibes are always off the charts. It is always so much fun. Before we get into the recap, actually, you were there, Shawnee G, were you not?
I was. Gabby and I rolled up into Dreamaker. We had absolutely perfect weather. If you were there last year, you know we had a little bit of the rain, especially, unfortunately, during the group potluck dinner, but not a drop in the sky, not even a cloud in the sky on Saturday morning for the rounds. It was absolutely perfect. Touch of wind, but not bad. So it made for some easy shooting conditions. And man, as you said, like the vibe was high. Everybody was having a blast. This was the biggest turnout that they have had. And I don't know how they're going to make it bigger next year, but I can't wait. This is a must play event.
What did everyone get up to off the course? Was there a potluck this year? Was there like anyone? I don't know if anybody wants to show off their arm over the pond like Thomas did a couple years ago. I don't know if there's anyone else that wants to do that. But what else went on off the course out at Dreamaker? Because it is such a fun tournament.
As always, there was the potluck dinner, which was extremely well attended and an absolute blast. There were baskets on either side of the pond, and we were doing the Ace Run Challenge.
Nice.
Mindy of Disky Chicks, she gave away a disc to the first 2 people to drain an ace. It took a little bit longer than expected. I think Dale Semple got one of them.
Of course.
And I think Chris from Barrie.
Thompson?
Yeah. Chris Thompson from Barrie. I think he got the other one.
Barrie boys.
Yeah. Nobody took the Thomas line and blasted it 600 feet down the lake. But man, it was awesome. I thought I would be the fun guy and throw my glowy Missed Mando Mini across the lake, and I absolutely grip locked it into the middle of the lake, like way the opposite direction. Little Nico Forbes goes in and he retrieves it, and so I'm like, "You get it, it's yours." So he's got
what a legend! Shout out Nico.
He's got a limited edition glow in the dark Missed Mando Mini.
Nice. I hope to see him using that at tournaments in the future. I'll be on a lookout when I see him at a tournament again. I'll be making sure he's got that. But moving back on to the play at the tournament, the FBO division saw a 2-player battle between Jess Goulet and Anna Olin, with Jess holding a 5-stroke lead after round 1 before running away from the competition en route to an 18-stroke victory, her second win of the season. Over in MPO, Calvin Rurda shot a 1,007 rated first round to take a 2-stroke lead into the final round over Austin Curry, Brian McDonald, and David Finch, who were all tied in second place. While most of the division was shooting over par to start round 2, Calvin was in neutral and sitting at even par through 9 holes with a 2-stroke lead now over Jonah McPhee, who is at 1 under through his first 9 holes. Playing on the chase card, Jonah was able to birdie holes 10 to 12, while on the lead card, Calvin only scored 1 birdie in that stretch, and the lead was tied. But a bogey from Jonah on 13 and matching birdies from both on 15 gave Calvin a 1-stroke lead with 3 holes to play. Jonah would par 16 before birdieing 17 and 18 to take a 1-stroke lead. While back on the lead card, Calvin took 3 straight pars to finish his round, giving Jonah the come-from-behind win, the first MPO win of his career. Over in the top amateur divisions, FA1 saw a tie between Alexis Zool and Sophie Goodwin after round 1. But in round 2, it was the youngster Sophie shooting the hot round by 6 strokes and taking down the 6-stroke win, the first FA1 win of her career, to go along with a bunch of junior wins. In MA1, Owen McDonald shot an incredible 1,007 rated first round, tying the MPO score after round 1 and taking a 2-stroke lead into round 2. But Ethan Eckenstein was able to mount an epic comeback, birdieing the last 3 holes of his round to send things into a playoff where he would go on to take the win. And like we were talking about earlier, not sure how many holes or whatnot it took, but he would go on to take the win, the very first PDGA win of his career. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for any thoughts from the Dreamaker Open, ace shoutouts, and any of that.
We got 3 aces to shout out. First, Owen McDonald in MA1 drained hole 16, 225 feet from the blues. Really fantastic ace there. Next, Mateo Hill in MJ15 also bagged hole 16, 135 feet from the reds. And Isla Patterson, 219-foot island hole 6. If you know that one, it's a great shot. Little elevated basket down to the island green. She nailed it from the reds, but not only did she win a share of the ace pot, but this was the ace bounty hole, a sponsored $500 ace, and she nailed it. Not only that, getting the cash. This was her first ace. Well done. Claps all around for Miss Patterson. Well done. Absolutely sick ace. First of many. The floodgates are open. We have to, absolutely mandatory, give a huge shout out to Austin Hill in MA3 for shooting, I kid you not, a bogey-free tournament with a 10-18 average, and he's 13 years old. Round 1, he shot a scorching -14, 1028 rated round, and round 2 was a -13,008. Not only that, but in round 1, there were 2 other players who shot more than 1,000 rated in MA3, including James Chaplow and Joe Evangelista, for both of whom this was their first PDGA tournament or first tournament as PDGA members. So their first ever player ratings will be almost 1,000 rated. By comparison, Calvin, who came in second in MPO, he averaged 997, and I think James Chatlow will now be rated 998. The ratings in MA3 were absolutely wild, but there is no doubt that shooting bogey free -14 and -13 at Dreamaker, those are no joke numbers.
Very, very impressive rounds. It has been a bit of a topic of discussion on some posts that I've seen. One that I made in the Guelph Disc Golf page, just shouting out these guys, because all 3 that shot over 1,000 are all from Guelph. And ratings definitely juiced in this tournament in MA3. I'm going to assume that a bunch of the top finishers not having PDGA ratings definitely has something to do with that. But all very impressive rounds nonetheless. And yes, especially shout out to my guy, Austin Hill. Played plenty of rounds with this kid. He has whooped my butt on more than one occasion, even though, like you said, he is 13 years old. He is going to be a force to reckon with in the future in the Ontario disc golf scene, without a doubt. Moving on now to our last local tournament to recap for this episode, and we are seeing the Ontario Tour making a trip out to the beautiful Newcastle Disc Golf Course for the 5th annual Forefathers Open, which saw 173 players across 19 divisions looking for a chance to qualify for provincials this fall. In FPO, Jess Goulet was looking to get back-to-back wins after Dreamaker and found herself in a tie with friend of the show Alicia Hums after round 1. The two would stay in a tight battle to start round 2, with Alicia leading by a single stroke after 14 holes, but a late stretch of bogeys by Jess matched by pars from Alicia would make the lead insurmountable, and Alicia would take down the win by 3 strokes, her 4th win of the season so far. Over in MPO, Chris Brown opened up a 2-stroke lead over Brock Tierney and Spencer Kersey's going into the final round after a 985 rated -5 in round 1. Round 2 saw Brian McDonald making moves from the chase guard as he would shoot an incredible bogey-free 1034 rated -11 to put pressure on the leaders. Chris was able to match his score from round 1, but fell behind Brian's score to beat. But Spencer was able to keep up with Brian's pace, shooting a 1017 rated -9 and taking down the 1-stroke win, which was the first MPO win of his career. Over in the top amateur divisions, Bernice Winter Kersey's held a 3-stroke lead after the first round in FA1, but struggled in round 2, which opened the door for Taylor Quigley to come from behind and storm ahead en route to a 6-stroke win, back-to-back wins for her after Gapp's Gambit, and the 4th win on the season for her. In MA1, Josh McMullen shot a 1002 rated -7 in round 1 to take a 2-stroke lead into the final round over Trent Michaud, with Bennett Duncan 3 shots back in 3rd. Josh was able to score 6 birdies, an eagle, and an ace, spoiler alert for Shawnee's ace section, in round 2, but 5 bogeys were enough to drop him off the pace to finish in 3rd. Meanwhile, Trent paired 7 birdies with 2 eagles, but 2 bogeys proved enough to be the difference, as Bennett would shoot a -11 with only 1 bogey, which gave him the 1-stroke win, his 2nd win of the season and his career, as he only started playing PDGA events this year at the Kings Forest Open back in March. He's only played 5 career events, and he has won 2 of them in MA1. Incredible start for Bennett. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for some thoughts, ace shoutouts, and the like.
We got 3 aces at Newcastle. Paul Jervis, MA50 player, bagged hole 3, 183 foot. As far as we understand, this is the first time this hole has been aced in a tournament. I don't know if it's been aced outside of a tournament, but very least in a tournament. That is a sick ace. That's the tight tunnel shot. You're throwing from outside the tunnel. It goes and then downhill, breaking to the left. That is a fantastic ace to get. Mateo Hill gets his 2nd ace in I think in as many tournaments. He nailed the practice basket hole, 147 footer, and then as Robbie said, Josh McMullen, hole 15, 195 foot ace. I think that was from the shorts, if I recall. A really great showing, boys. Well done. Want to give a shout out to some divisions that were won by a single stroke. In MA50, Patrick Walker took that down. In MA2, Matthew Ferris won it. In MA3, Kai Louis Smith, who also won the draw for a custom Pound Rufus bag. What an absolutely sick prize. And then, of course, gotta give a big shout out to Wes Watto Watt, the pride of White Spruce, for taking it down in MA40. I was a little sad not to play this tournament, but as we said in the intro, I was out at that disc golf camp, and I'm not that sad.
I'd say it was worth it for going out to that disc golf camp. And yeah, shout out to all of the winners, the close battles, the blowouts, everybody that qualified for provincials, as this was a Ontario tour stop and a provincial qualifier. And I usually make Forefathers every year. Just like you, Shawnee G, I was bummed to have missed out. I had some family plans going on. But man, Newcastle is just such a fun course. I am jealous of everybody that got to go out there. And hopefully in 2026, I will be able to return to this awesome tournament. Alrighty, Shawnee G, moving on to the Pro Tour. We were back in Europe for another amazing tournament, the Ale Open at the number 2 ranked course in the world, the Ale Disc Golf Center. In FPO, Kristen Lett held a 1-stroke lead after the first round over 13-year-old Swedish phenom Julia Fors, but in round 2, Silva Saarinen was able to come from 7 strokes back to get within 1 stroke of Kristen and set up a great final round battle where Silva was able to finally beat Kristen for a Pro Tour win, her first win of the season, taking it down by a single stroke after a 992 rated -6 in the final round. Over in MPO, Ricky Wysocki held a 1-stroke lead after the first round, extended it to a 3-stroke lead over Nicholas Antila going into the final round, and had extended the lead to 4 strokes after 8 holes. But then a 3-stroke swing on hole 9 shot the lead down to only 1, and Nicholas was able to tie things up on hole 15, where things stayed tied until Nicholas took back-to-back birdies on 16 and 17, allowing him to play safe on 18 and take the 1-stroke win over Ricky, giving Nicholas 3 wins this season, which is the most on tour, at least for now. We'll get to that in a second. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you. Let's hear some of your thoughts from the Ale Open.
This was a good tournament to watch, and definitely go back and watch the Jomez, because you probably weren't watching certainly FPO live at 3:30 in the morning or whatever.
Slight little correction: if you're looking for this event, it actually won't be on Jomez. It would be on MTG Media, I believe, is the YouTube channel that covers the European events, and they have been really good. That they are great at what they do.
Yeah, I really like it. It's a little more. Well, I don't know, a little more minimal, would you say?
Yeah, a little more streamlined, I'd say.
Yeah, a little more streamlined than Jomez. A little quicker. You get in and out, just watch it a little. It's like Jomez used to be, I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, really good. It was amazing. This Julia Fors, like
crazy.
Incredible. Just absolutely incredible. Hanging with the big dogs. She is going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with. It'll be interesting to see when she makes the transition to jump over to the US side. Probably not when she's 14, but who knows? Who knows? It'll also be interesting to see with that future of disc golf tour, junior tour thing that they're doing this year. It'll be interesting to see how she does at that. I would imagine she's got to be one of the favorites for it.
Oh, gotta be.
Yeah. It was an exciting tournament to watch. Especially in MPO. It hasn't always been the case this year, but this was a good one to watch in MPO, and you like to see the close battles.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah, and also like to see Nicholas take this down, but come on, Ricky.
He's going to get one eventually this year. I think he's going to get a win this year.
I think so. Let's go for some picks recap. As you remember, you did pretty well, Mr. Robbie. You went with Kristen, who finished second, and you went with Ricky Wysocki, who also finished second. So pretty solid average there of average of 2, if my math is correct.
That's pretty good on the fly math there.
Thank you. I'm a C grade mathematician, C tier mathematician. I went with Silva Saarinen, who took it down, and Mauri Vilman, who did not take it down. I thought he would be riding that Konopiste high, but not so much. He finished tied for 19th, so that gives me 20, an average of 10. Galen, unfortunately, went with Rebecca Hoppe, that 852 rated player, and Felix Milton, 938 rated, and did not win. He did not beat the average of 2 that you did. I didn't even bother looking to see where those players finished. But what do you know? It was not a winning week for Galen, unfortunately. Real sad, real shock.
Yeah, real sad. Anyways, moving on. Anyways, we don't need to linger on Galen any longer with that. Moving on to the Preserve, as we are back in the States once again, and the Pro Tour headed to Clearwater, Minnesota for this year's Preserve Championship, of course, on the Airborne disc golf course, designed and I believe owned by Cale LaVisca. In FPO, no? Shaking your head at me?
Yeah, it used to be. I believe he sold it to some other guy.
All right, well, he used to. At least at one point, my information was correct. But no longer. But over in FPO, Silva Saarinen and friend of the show, Cadence Burge, were tied for first after the first 2 rounds, with Kristen Latt looming only 1 stroke behind them. In the final round, while Cadence had some early struggles to drop off the pace, Kristen and Silva pulled away from the field in an awesome battle, which saw Silva coming out on top with a 2-stroke win, her second straight win, both against the world's number 1 player, Kristen Latt, with Cadence rounding out the podium in 3rd place. Special shout out to friend of the pod, Rebecca Dawn, who finished in a tie for 8th place for her first ever DGPT top 10 of her young career, which we know will see plenty more top 10s and definitely some wins in her future. In the MPO division, it was a tight battle after round 1, with Gannonburr holding a 1-stroke lead over Corey Ellis and 2 strokes over Sullivan Tipton. But that's where the tight battle ended, as Gannon would shoot a 1099 rated -16 with a bogey, -16 with a bogey, to take a 5-stroke lead into the final round, where he would shoot a bogey-free 1084 rated -15 to absolutely destroy the field and win by 11 strokes over Corey, with Carter Aarons finishing in 3rd place. Carter Aarons, who recently announced that he is going to be going to Emporia State for college and playing on the collegiate disc golf team there. And with a 3rd place finish on the Pro Tour, I'd say he's got to be a favorite at Nationals next year when that rolls around for sure. Gannon's 1088 event rating is the highest ever in an Elite Series or major event, and the win gives him 3 total on the season now, tying Nicholas Antala for the most in the MPO division. Shawnee G, let's throw it over to you for some of your thoughts from the Preserve.
In FPO, used to be 1,000 rated, a 1,000 rated tournament. You would be pretty much guaranteed to win the show. For this event, Silva, she averaged 1012, and Kristen averaged 1007. This is yet another FPO tournament this year where shooting over 1,000 rated is good enough for 2nd place. The progression of the FPO field at the top continues to really be impressive, and they're absolutely pushing the sport to new heights, and you love to see it. So great. Also want to give a shout out to other friend of the show, Chantel Badinsky, who finished tied for 18th. An absolute great showing in a packed field. So well done, Chantal. Well done. Over to our picks. Galen actually sent in some solid picks this time. He went with Missy Gannon, who tied for 8th, and Ricky Wysocki, who also tied for 8th. And again, my math is pretty average. So his average was 8th. You on the
brain Sean. Big brain Sean.
Big if true. You went with Holland Hanley, who tied for 4th, and Gannon Burr, who, as you said, just barely eked out that 11-stroke win for maybe. So would this be the most boring round of MPO to watch of the season? It might be, but you totaled 5, so average 2.5. I didn't actually give you any picks, and so it looks like my picks were Greg Barber, who finished 107th, and Trinity Bryant, who finished in 41st. So that is a total of 148. So what is that, like 74 or something? Not my best showing, I gotta say.
Yeah, when you don't send in picks beforehand, sometimes you draw the short end of the stick. That's just how it goes sometimes. But yeah, good showings out there by the Canadian ladies. I absolutely love to see that. And we're going to move on now to some Pro Tour previews. And coming up this weekend, actually today, round 1 will be over as you're listening to this on the first day of the event. The United States Women's Disc Golf Championship, which the next pro major of the season. But there's more than just pros at this event, as it's a celebration of women in the sport. And this year features 332 total women competing across 19 divisions, including a record-breaking field of 46 in FA1 and a stacked 78-player field in FPO, featuring all of the top players in the world. This year, the event heads to Manitowoc, Wisconsin, and will be played at Rolling Hills and Silver Creek for FPO, and several other top courses to accommodate for all the other divisions and skill levels. At last year's event in Round Rock, Texas, it was Missy Gannon who came away with a 3-stroke win, with Evelina Salonen in 2nd, Val Mondahano in 3rd, Owen Scoggins in 4th, and Heidi Line in 5th. This year's field is loaded with all of the top players in the world, including Kristen Lott, Holland Hanley, Silva Sodernen, Missy Gannon, Owen Scoggins, Paige Pierce, and many, many more. And of course, shout out to the Canadian Air Force of Chantel Badinsky, Rebecca Dawn, and Sophia Dunica in FPO, Helen Unger, Brianna Vandergrint, and Annika Wiebe in FA1, Jennifer Adams in FA50, Shauna Rouleau in FA55, Andrea Michaud in FA3, and Katana Taylor in FJ18. Let's go, Canada. And Shawnee G, I will throw it over to you for either some of your thoughts on USWDGC, or you can jump in and make your picks.
It's going to be such an amazing event. My wife was there down in Texas last year. Got this sick majors bib as part of the players pack. So cool for caddies and the whatnots. Pre-picks, let's give a shout out to Katana Taylor. She's been she met her at the RIP last year. She's part of the pickle posse. She sells these little, her and her brother sell the pickles to raise money to help pay for their tour events. And in 2 of her practice rounds, she got an ace on both of them. 2 rounds, 2 aces, 2 days. And the second one
amazing
was when she was walking with the other cat, a little known player named Cat Merch. So super sick.
Not a big deal.
Check out Katana Taylor's Instagram for video on that. Watch the practice round, the Jomez practice round, which featured the Two Hot Geese, Sophia Dunica, and Taylor Chosek, and it's super funny. It looks super fun. One of the holes, the course is on the shore of, I assume that's Lake Michigan. Or I don't know if it's Lake Michigan over there, if it's Lake Superior. It's one of the big lakes, that may even be great. But one of the OB lines, there's a string that runs down the beach. So you could go over the trees, land on the beach, and it'd still be inbounds. So that'll be fun to see if anybody actually ends up out there. But the course looks great. I think it's going to be a fantastic tournament to watch, and we're definitely going to be watching. Let's do some picks. Looks like I've got the first pick this time. I mean, this is actually tough because
frozen on my screen.
First of all,
am I?
The Euros are back. Evelina is back in town, so she's had some time off. Henna is now freshly married. I don't know if that's going to help putting, but she is back in the field. So the field's going to be a little bit deeper than that has been for a few tour stops. But you still got Kristen, you still got Holland, you still got Missy, still got Owen, still got Silva. All of those are coming for the title. So I'm going to go Silva's on a roll. I'll take Silva Sardin.
Dang it. I totally missed about probably like 30 seconds of what you said there. I totally froze, and I wasn't sure. Well, you froze on my screen, but I guess it was because I actually froze, and came back to you in the middle of talking there. So sorry if I interrupted just out of nowhere, and you hear my voice come in there. That was a little weird. So I don't know exactly anything that you said, but no, I assume that I didn't miss anything, anyways, but. You taking Silva, that is exactly who I was going to go with. She is on a heater, on an absolute heater. I think I heard a stat or something. She's like undefeated in the month of June, going back to like 2021. Which is absolutely insane. Because you remember last year she won, I think, 5 events in June last year. Yeah. And the year before, I think she did 4 in a row in June on the European stretch. So, yeah, something about Silva in June is just absolutely crazy. But that will leave me with no choice other than to go with the next obvious pick, which will be Kristen Latt, the world number 1. Back-to-back events where she has lost to Silva, and can certainly happen again. I mean, I just said I wanted to pick Silva, but if I'm going to fall back onto anyone, falling back onto the world number 1 as my pick. Can't really argue there. What about Galen? Did he tell you anything, Sean?
Matter of fact, he did. He wanted to think outside the box, so he went with Christina Viola, the Pride of San Diego, 811 rated. It's a bold choice. I don't know if it's going to pay off for him, but he said he's gone on DraftKings and he's mortgaged his house on this pick. So it's a bold strategy. We'll see how it pays off.
Very bold strategy, Cotton. I'm not sure how it'll play out, but we shall see. But we will move on now to the next preview. And although not officially a Pro Tour event, a lot, if not all, of the top European players will be back in Europe for the 2025 European Disc Golf Championships in Langevag, Norway. I totally butchered that pronunciation. I apologize. And the iconic Vasset Disc Golf Park, home to the Sula Open. Don't get this event confused with the European Disc Golf Festival, which is the European major that will be happening in less than a month. And like I said, this isn't even officially a Elite Series event. It is just a higher ranking A tier, but with so many top players in the field, we will do a quick little tournament preview. And the European-only event features stacked fields, including Niklas Antila, Mauri Vilman, Lari Lettinen, and Väinö Mäkelä. In MPO, and in FPO, we'll see Kristen Latt, Silva Saarinen, Evelina Salonen, and Anniken Sten, amongst many, many more. Shawnee G, any thoughts from you on this tournament, or I am going to go first on picks this time?
I have absolutely no thoughts in this tournament. Don't know the course, don't know the event. Looking forward to it, though.
You will remember the course somewhat from the PCS Sula Open, which has been a Pro Tour event and was actually the first Pro Tour event over in Europe when I think Paul Macbeth won it that year. And I believe the PCS Open is back this year. So I'm not sure if they're changing courses for that or if it'll be back on this course for the Pro Tour. I'm not. It
would be weird if they doubled up a course.
Yeah, I know they usually don't. So I would imagine that if this is playing at where the Sula Open usually is, then PCS Open may have moved. But for our picks, I am going to go with, like I said, absolutely stacked in the FPO field. And because I didn't get her in our last picks, I am going to take Silva Saarinen to take this down, like I said, in the month of June, especially in Europe. She is unstoppable, even against the world number one, Kristen Latt. And in over on the MPO side, I'm going to stick pretty chalky with it, and I'm going to go with Niklas Antila, who, like I mentioned earlier, is tied for the most wins on the Pro Tour this year with Gannon Buhr. Actually, the only other player other than Gannon Buhr to have multiple wins this season is only Gannon and Niklas to have multiple wins. So, yeah, I see that you just put KL in there, but it should say SS because I took Silva.
That is
Shawnee G. Who are your
correct.
picks?
Who are my picks? I'm going to start in MPO, and I'll take Lauri Lettinen.
Nice.
The guy bombs. So let's go with him.
Bit of a resurgence this year again, which is nice.
And I'm still a little bitter about Mauri Vilman. Man, let me down. And I don't think Väinö has not had a fantastic season so far. So give me Lauri Lettinen. I'm liking his game right now. Over in FPO, for some reason, I kind of want to go Evelina. But you know what? Let's get spicy. We're going to leave the number one player in the world on the board and give me Evelina Salonen for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Let's get it spicy.
Pure gut check. I love it. If you're right about that pick, that's going to be incredible.
I love it.
Yep.
Now Galen has sent us his picks. Let's see here. He's gone with wow. Now this is bold. Loria Zulit Ruiz from, I believe, Spain.
Mm-hmm.
She's 7'11" rated. It's if he still has his house from his last pick, we'll see if he's going to make a lot of money on this pick. And then over in MPO, he's got Dejan Dobreda, the pride of Serbia, a whopping 842 rated, just a little bit higher than me, especially after that last ratings update where it went down. So bold picks. I gotta say, I wasn't expecting him to leave the number one player in the world on the table, but listen, these are his picks. What am I going to do? I don't argue with it.
Well, I know we don't control him. We just relay the information that is 100% actually been relayed to us and is not just being made up by us on the spot. We would never do that here.
Absolutely not. Journalistic integrity is what Missed Mando is all about.
100%. We are going to move on now to our last preview for this episode, and it is the last tournament in the US before the Pro Tour fully shifts to the European swing, the Discmania Challenge, formerly known as the Des Moines Challenge, held at Pickard Park in Des Moines, Iowa. This event will also feature a champs versus chumps round for those in attendance. And on the Thursday before the event, the Pro Tour is hosting the first ever Creators Challenge, which pairs 8 top pros with 8 disc golf content creators in an alternate shot doubles format. Super, super cool idea. And I believe that will be available to stream on definitely DGN, maybe YouTube. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me, but should definitely be on TGN. Last year's event saw Anthony Barella win by 2 strokes over Matteo with Gannon Burr in third. And in FPO, it was Emily Weatherman winning by 3 strokes over Eliezra Midling and Natalie Ryan, who tied for second. This year's field is missing all of the Europeans, as it's the same weekend as the European Championships, but still features Holland Hanley, Missy Gannon, Ella Hansen, and more in FPO. And in MPO, we'll see Gannon Burr, Ricky Wysocki, Isaac Robinson, and more. Shawnee G, I'll throw it over to you. Any thoughts from you on the Discmania Challenge? And you can also take your picks first this time around.
I'm most excited for the champs versus chumps. Having, as we talked about it, having played in one this past weekend, it is so fun. And seeing if assume that it's going to be at Pickard Park. If so, that it's going to be a blast. I'm looking forward to watching that. Maybe more than the actual tournament, but I do really want to watch this tournament. It was fun last year, and I think it's going to be good this year. As for picks, I'm going Gannon Burr. I don't think he wants to lose it 2 years in a row, and he's Gannon Burr. So yeah, put me down for the world number 1 there. Over in FPO, I'll let you have Holland, and I'll take Big Money Missy. Even though this is not a big money event, maybe she'll bust out the dollar bills earrings and take it down. So put me down for, I'm going double Gannon.
Love it. The Gannon Burr Missy Gannon combo. Or I guess I should say Missy Gannon Burr, so that the Gannons are back to back when I say it. I absolutely love that. And yeah, Missy with the dollar sign earrings was just such a baller move. I absolutely love that. All right. Well, that leaves me. I'm going to take you took Gannon over in MPO. I am going to go with I should have looked up how these guys played last year, but he's been on a decent hot streak recently with some decent finishes. Hasn't gotten a win yet, but like I said earlier, I think he's going to, and I think it could be this one. So why not? I'm going to go with Ricky Wysocki in MPO, and over on FPO, Sean Lefter there for me. So it is a no-brainer. I'm going to take Holland Handley. But we would be remiss if not to give a big shout out to the Canadians in the field, Rebecca Dawn, Sophia Dunica, and Chantel Badinsky. We hope one of them ends up taking it down and completely screws over our picks, but we would love to see it no matter what.
Other thing that we're going to love to see is Galen's picks. So let's see here. Galen has gone with, and this is, I'm reading his actual text message. I'm not making this up at all. Brock Parks, in MPO, 952 rated. Absolutely solid pick. I see no downside to that one. And then over in FPO, going with Lexi Dolly, the pride of Kenny, Iowa. Let's go. She's 840 rated. Again, just absolutely bold picks, and you'll love to see that from Galen. Definitely not because he is sleep deprived from having a baby. Yeah.
Not at all to do with sabotage on our part at all.
Never. No, we reject
Absolutely.
all accusations to the contrary.
Absolutely. Well, that is going to do it for our upcoming previews. But Shawnee G, I think there was something you wanted to leave us with at the end of this episode.
Been chatting with a buddy of mine down in the Detroit area, Paul Hitzelberger, and he was like, I've been enjoying all your stories and all your photos on Instagram about disc golf. And he's like, he just casually says, it reminds me when I used to play. I'm like, excuse me, what now? You used to play disc golf? You're a frolfer? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm a frolfer. Let's see here. He hasn't played an event since 2006. He's got a PDGA number in the 12,000s. And he like placed second to Ken Climo in a tournament. He, back in the day down in Florida. I'm like, wait, what is going on? He's like, yeah, let me get out my disc. He brings out this Tupperware. He streams it on FaceTime to me. He's like, yeah, I don't know, this is like, that's a first run buzz. He's like, and they got this one here. I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
Oh, what a legend.
So long story short, he's now re-upped his membership. I'm going to go down there and we're going to play a tournament in a couple weekends. His first tournament since 2006.
Oh, my goodness.
We're in the same division. It's going to be amazing. He used to run tournaments down in Florida back in like the late 90s, early 2000s. And like, it's so cool. He went out to league, this past week. First time playing since forever. He said, I had a blast. I shot like a plus 36. And, at some point, the other guys were going through my bag, just amazed at these old discs that I have. He's like, but I got to put them away. I imagine if he hit a tree with any of them, they would shatter. And the largest piece of disc rule would apply.
Yeah.
So he went the other day to a disc golf store for the first time, and he's like, I don't know what I'm seeing. I don't know what any of these. So it was to the point where he's like, I don't know what to get. I'm like, okay, like there's all these companies. Like, no, I only want Innova and Discraft. I'm old school like that. I'm like, okay, but like, what speed discs do you like? He's like, I don't even know what that means. Because flight numbers came out 3 years after he stopped playing. So he doesn't know what the Innova flight 4-digit flight number thing means. So I was like, oh, it's go time. Instant long text explaining what those things are. He's like, oh yeah. And all the guys have these like 2-tier bags at disc golf. They seem really popular. I'm like, what are you talking about? 2-tier? Oh, you mean like a standard bag that has a main pocket and a putter pouch at top? He's like, yeah. He's like, because those also didn't exist until like 2009.
Old school one strap shoulder bags.
Oh no, listen, he's a baller. He had the quad straps with I think suspension. Like this was like,
oh, let's go.
He was a disc golf prince from back in the day. Like, yeah, it is just, I absolutely love that that his addiction has been rekindled and refired, and that he's getting back out with his 12,000 PDGA number that hasn't been active since 2006. So fun, so cool. Welcome back to the sport, Paul. Absolutely love it. And that will do it for us here on episode 37 of Missed Mando. If you're out there playing one of those 7 or whatever tournaments this weekend, have so much fun. Special shout out to all the CWE players and the people who are going to get absolutely wrecked at the Bronte and the Beast, playing the hardest layout that course can offer. It's going to be great. It's going to be hot as hell. Stay hydrated, stay bug sprayed up, and stay listening and watching us here on Missed Mando. But until then, on behalf of my co-host, Robbie Holden, and a very special shout out to new dad, Galen Naidu Harris, I'm your co-host, Sean Galbraith, and we will see you out on the course. Do, 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 do.